Hello everyone, in this video I will discuss and demonstrate a simple library management using Python's Tkinter library. This program includes functions such as add, edit, delete, and search. Without further ado, let's dive in. Before we discuss about the program, let me show you first the whole code. Let's begin by looking at the libraries we're using in this program. Import Tkinter as TK. Tkinter is Python's library built in for creating graphical user interfaces or GUI. It allows us to design windows, buttons, labels, and other interactive components. The import keyword is used to include libraries into our program. The as keyword assigns tkinter as tk for convenience. We'll be calling it in setting up the GUI later on. From tkinter import messagebox. Messagebox is a part of tkinter. This module helps us create pop-up messages to alert or notify users, like success messages or warnings. We will also need to import SQLite 3. This library provides a simple way to manage a database directly within our Python program. We'll use it to store, retrieve, and edit book records for our library management. Now let's dive into the setup database function, which sets up the database for our library management. Here's what each line does. This line creates a connection to a database file called books.db. If the file doesn't exist, it's automatically created. A cursor is an object that lets us execute SQL commands. Think of it as a bridge between our Python code and the database. This SQL command creates a table named books if it doesn't already exist. The table has columns like ID, which is the unique identifier, title, author, publisher, year, ISBN, and genre. A unique ID for each book that automatically increases. Text data type for storing basic information as a string. Integer stores information as a number. This saves the changes to the database, ensuring the table is created. Finally, we close the connection to free up resources. It's always good practice to close a database after completing operations. This function ensures that the database and its books tables are ready to store book records before the application starts running. Before we dive into the functionality of the program, let's first set up the appearance of our window and the layout of the components. This will give us a clear understanding of where everything goes in the user interface. We start by defining some variables that will control the appearance of the GUI. These include font styles, background colors, and button colors. Let's take a look at them. Font family. This sets the font for the text in the GUI. Here, we're using Times New Roman, but you can choose any font you like. This defines the background color of the entire window. It sets to a light blue shade using the hex color code. Here, we're specifying the foreground color or the text color for labels. We're using a purple shade with the hex code. The background color for the entry text fields is set to a light grayish blue, while the foreground color, which determines the color of the text typed into these fields, is set to bright orange red. These lines define the button colors. Button BG is the background color of buttons, which is dark green. Button FG is the text of the button, which is set to white. Button active BG is the color when you click the button, set to a bright blue. Button active FG is the color when the text is clicked over, also white. By setting up these variables at the beginning, we make our code easier to manage and modify. If we want to change the color scheme or font later, we will only need to adjust these values. This keeps our code clean and flexible. Now that we have set up these variables, let's move on to creating the window and placing the elements like labels, buttons, and entry fields. These elements will be styled based on the variables we have defined. This line initializes the main window of our application. tk.tk creates the root window, which serves as the main container for all our UI elements, such as buttons, labels, and text fields. We will assign this to root variable. Here, we're setting the title of the window to Library Management. This is the text that appears on the title bar of the window when the program runs. This line defines the size of the window. We're setting the width to 1000 pixels and the height to 550 pixels. You can adjust these values based on your desired window size. This line sets the background color of the window. We have used the root_bg variable, which we previously defined as light blue color. The config method allows us to configure various properties of the window, and here we're setting its background color. By creating the window and setting these properties, we establish the basic appearance of our application. It's the foundation on which we'll add the components like labels, buttons, and entry fields later. Now that we have our main window set up, let's move on and start adding the different components to it. This is the method used to create label in Tkinter. A label is a widget that displays text or an image. It is commonly used for displaying titles, description, and prompts to the user. Let's discuss the argument used. Root. This is the parent widget that the label will be placed in. In this case, root refers to the main window created using tk.tk, which is the top-level container for all the elements in the app. This tells Tkinter to display the label within the root window. Text. This argument is used to specify the text that will be displayed in the label. For example, if you have a text equals title, it will show the word title on the label. You can also display strings like author, publisher, etc. Font. These arguments allows you to set the font style, size, and weight for the label text. Font family. The font family, for example, Times New Roman, Arial, Helvetica. Size. The size of the font. And style. Additional styling such as bold, italic, etc. This is optional and can be omitted. BG stands for background color of the label. It is used to set the background color of the label widget. The value should be a valid color name or hexadecimal color code. For example, BG equals root BG refers to a color stored in the root BG variable. FG. This is short for foreground color. It is similar to BG, but it is used to design the text color. The dot place is used to position a widget at a specific x and y coordinates within its parent widget or window. We can assign the label into a variable, then use the place function or directly add it within the light. In this case, we won't need to call the title label, so we directly add the dot place. But for other labels, we assign them to a variable. The TK entry widget creates a single line text input field, allowing users to enter and edit a string. This setup would result with the labels on the left and entry fields on the right. Let's move on with our buttons. In creating a button, we will use tk.button. This creates a clickable button with customizable text, images, or commands, triggering a specified function when pressed. The command argument triggers a function when the button is pressed. Using lambda ensures that the function is executed without needing additional parameters. This allows for cleaner code. Each button triggers a different function when clicked. The width and height arguments set the desired width and height for the widget. This creates a list box widget that will display the list of books in the library. It is configured with font. Sets the font of the text inside the list box. Width defines the width of the list box in terms of a number of characters visible. Height specifies how many lines of text the list box can display at once. Relief defines the border style for the list box. The raised value makes the list box appears as if it's elevated above the surrounding area. This function is called to ensure that the database and table are set up before interacting with the application. It is used to initialize the database and load any previous data. The update listbox function retrieves all book records from an SQLite database, clears the existing listbox content, and repopulates it with the retrieved book data. We'll discuss this in a moment. The main loop method in the tkinter event The main loop method is the tkinter event loop. It listens for any events like button clicks or text entry, and keeps the window open until the user closes it. This function ensures that the GUI remains interactive. Moving on with the other functions. The list box function updates the list of the displayed in the book list box widget. This clears all existing items in the list box before adding new data. Delete 0 tk.end deletes everything from the first item, index 0, to the last item, tk.end. A connection to the books.db SQLite database is established. A cursor object is created, allowing interaction with the database to execute SQL commands. The execute methods run an SQL query to select all records from the book table in the database. Fetch all retrieves all rows or books from the result set of the SQL query. The result is stored in the books variable as a list of tuples, where each tuples represent a book. The connection to the database is closed using con.close after retrieving the data, bringing up the resources. This loop iterates over each book in the book list. For each book, a formatted string display text is created, displaying the book details, the ID, title, author, publisher, year, ISBN, genre, separated by a pipe or vertical line. The formatted string is inserted into the book list box using the insert method, adding the text at the end, tk.end of the list box. This updates the list box with the book data retrieved from the database. The clear entries function is used to reset all the entry fields in the form. Here's what each line does. This line clears the input from the title entry field. The delete 0 tk.end method removes all characters starting from position 0 to the end of the text, effectively resetting the entry field. Similarly, these lines clear the input fields for author, publisher, year, ISBN, genre, and ID. Each delete 0 tk.end resets the respective field, ensuring that when you add a new book or perform another action, all previous inputs are cleared. This is useful after for performing operations like adding a new book, as it clears the form and allows the user to input new data without manually deleting the old values. Alright, now let's run the program and demonstrate how the Add Book feature works. When you launch the program, you will see a window with several fields for entering book details like title, author, publisher, year, ISBN, and genre. To add a new book, simply type the information into the corresponding fields. Let's say we enter a title, an author, a publisher, and so on. Once all the details are filled in, you click the Add button. At this point, the program performs a few tasks behind the scenes, which bring us to the Add Book function. Let me walk you through the code for adding a book. The first part of the function grabs the user's input from the entry fields. Here, get function retrieves the values entered by the user in the entry fields. Each variable now holds the information for the book that we want to add. Next, we check if any of the fields are empty. It is checked using the if condition. If any entry is missing, it will return false, but the not keyword reverses it, which returns true and triggering the condition. If any of the items are missing, we show a warning message. If any field is empty, the program will show a warning using a pop-up message and will stop the function from running with the return keyword. If all the fields are filled out, we proceed with adding the book to the database. Here, we open a connection to the books.db SQLite database, create a cursor object to execute SQL commands, run an insert into statement to add the book data into the books database. Finally, commit saves the changes to the database, and close function shuts down the connection. After adding a book, we update the list of books in the GUI. After adding a book, we update the list of books in the GUI. This function refers the list box to show the newly added book. To prepare for adding another book, we clear all the input fields. This ensures that after clicking the Add button, the form is reset and ready for the next entry. Finally, once the book has been successfully added, we show a confirmation message. This is a friendly pop-up to let the user know that the book has been successfully added to the database. Now, let's look at editing a book. If you want to make changes to a book's information, you need to know the book ID. This ID is assigned automatically when you add a book. Once you enter the ID of the book you want to edit, the system will fetch the current information from the database and display it in the entry fields. You can then update the fields with the new information. If the ID you entered doesn't exist, you'll be notified and nothing will change. For example, if you need to change the year of publication, just type the new information and click Edit. Here, we will edit the year of publication of the Harry Potter book. We will get the book ID, which is 10, then change the year from 1991 to 1998. Once you have edited the book details, you need to update the database. This is done by clicking the Update button. When you click it, the system will save your changes and update the book record in the database. If all required fields are filled out correctly, the system will save the changes, and the uploaded book details will be displayed. If something is missing, you will get a reminder. Looking at the code, the edit book functions retrieves book details from the database based on the provided ID, populates the form fields with the book's data, and displays an error message if no matching book exists. On the other hand, the update book function updates a book record in the database with new information from the form fields, validates input, and displays success or error messages accordingly. Let's run again the program and demonstrate how to delete a book. In this example, we will delete the Harry Potter book. In order to do that, we'll get the book ID, type it in the ID entry, and hit delete button. As we can see here, the Harry Potter book is deleted from the database. Let's look at the code. This function is similar to add, edit, and update function. It removes a book record from the database based on the provided ID and updates the list box to reflect the change. It also clears the form entries and displays a success message after deletion. Now, let's move on to searching for books in our library database. The search book functions allows us to look up books using any detail, such as the ID, title, author, publisher, year, ISBN, or genre. To demonstrate, I'll type a search term, the, into the search box and click the search button. The program will check all fields in the database for matches. It retrieves results where the term appears, even partially, and updates the list box to show only the matching records. As you can see, it displays the books with the title containing the. Here how it works behind the scenes. The program fetches the input from the search box. If the box is empty, it shows a warning message. Otherwise, it connects to the database, uses an SQL query with a wildcard % to match the search term in any field, and fetches all matching records. Finally, the list box is cleared and refreshed to display only the results. If I clear the search box and clear refresh, it will reload all the books in the database. The refresh functions ensures that the list box always reflects the current state of the database. To wrap things up, this program showcases a comprehensive library management. It integrates user-friendly input, fields, buttons, and database functionalities using Tkinter for the interface and SQLite for the backend. We've walked through adding, editing, updating, deleting, and searching for books, alongside refreshing the displayed book list to ensure data consistency. With this program, managing a library becomes efficient and easy. With that, thank you for watching. See you next time!